Hey everyone, welcome back to Blade and Brush. I'm Mike, your wet shaver, with another shave video featuring the Weishi Nostalgic Adjustable Razor in black PVD coating. This one is available on the Weishi website, I think. You probably also get it on AliExpress or Amazon or whatever. I got mine off of Amazon. Comes with a nice, rather cool looking biker bandana that I neglected to bring up here, but oh well. But I wanted to shave with this today since I am running out of soaps and creams to use on the channel that I haven't used before. So I wanted to go ahead and use this, get through some of the razors that I haven't yet featured. So we're going to go ahead and use this time is Lucien, Le Pierre Lucien Savon de Barbier Oud and Sandalwood, which I've used on the channel before. And we're going to use again, because why not? Yeah, I just came from the shower. You can see my hair is still a little bit wet. Yeah, I decided to go with my Phoenix Cube shave soap as my pre-shave treatment, because why not? I've got only so much of that pre-shave oil, and I don't want to use it up too quickly. Alright, so I'm using my Sterling Bore brush to whip up my lather, so let's go ahead and load the brush. Yeah, we live in some crazy times, I'm telling you. The orange idiot in the White House just decided to declare open war on anyone who is not a flat-out Nazi, designating Antifa as a terrorist group. Well, first of all, there's no group called Antifa, okay? Antifa is basically an abbreviation of anti-fascist, meaning anyone who is against fascists and fascism. So if your grandfathers fought Nazis in World War II, the U.S. government under Trump thinks that you're a terrorist. Yeah. I did not vote for the guy. I did not want him in office. I did not want the other candidate in office because I knew it would be pretty much the same thing no matter what. Yeah, a lot of people are going to disagree with that statement. I don't care. I got my opinion. You've got yours. But you get one dead Nazi in Utah, and they want to declare open war on pretty much anyone who's not a Nazi. So, yeah, miss me with all those indignant comments. I'm half Polish, all right? Like half the Jews killed in the Holocaust were Polish citizens, and of the 11 million total killed in the Holocaust, 4.2 million were Polish citizens. And don't even get me started on what the Ukrainian Nazis did to Polish people for 2 years during World War II until the Soviets came in and stopped them. So yeah, I'm not a fan of Nazis. If that makes me a terrorist, fuck you. And you can tell I'm not in the mood for bullshit. So I've ended friendships over their toxic personalities and politics that says, oh no, you're not allowed to disagree with me, otherwise you're being disrespectful. It's like, why is it always on the other guy to shut up and go along? That tells me you weren't looking for friendship, you were just looking for yes people who would just let you ramble on and spew whatever toxic BS that you wanted to without any challenge. Well, real friends challenge each other on their bullshit, okay? Even Franklin Roosevelt had his friend who was not afraid to tell him when he was acting like a damn fool. Yeah, definitely. If I was a Democrat in the 1940s, I would have been a Roosevelt Democrat. Definitely not a Truman Democrat. All right, so we've got the lather on my face. I'm sorry to go into the political rant, but yeah, people on social media have really been getting on my nerves lately. But yeah, so I just had to get that off my chest. I'm not here to talk politics. We're here to evaluate the Weishi Nostalgic Adjustable Razor. So I've got this on setting 4. It goes all the way up to really 8 settings. There's a numbered settings up to 7, and then you have the word max after that for maximum aggressiveness. But I've got mine on setting 4. Like I said, this is coated in black PVD coating. I do believe it's all brass. It is a barn door razor. You want to make sure that it is properly aligned before closing the barn doors. Don't close it too tight. And if you want to adjust it, you just open up the barn doors a little bit and twist the adjustment dial. But yeah, this is modeled on Weishi's clone of the old Gillette Super Speeds. And it had been working on this with Q-Shave razors to make an adjustable razor. But for some reason, the project didn't work out. Q-Shave wanted it to go with its design. Weishi wanted to stick with what worked. So the two companies ended up not developing their joint design, and Weishi ended up going with its own. For better or for worse. I mean, the problem with barn door razors is depending on quality control, the blade gap can be wider at one end than it is on the other, which is the case with this one. And since I didn't feel like trying to get a replacement, I just figured I'd learn to try and shave with it, you know? Yeah, one of the reasons why I got so cheesed off about all this fuss over a dead Nazi was because the so-called memorial event held in Arizona for him came off like a combination of a Nuremberg rally and WWE event with colors that are unmistakably blood and soil, red and black Nazi colors. And rumor had it that the rapture was supposed to take place on Tuesday. Of course, it didn't. I look on overt displays of false religion the same way I look on overt displays of false politics. Is that if you have to go so overboard in declaring it, then it's not genuine. Jesus actually said, you know, when you pray, go into your closet and pray in secret so that your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. And there was a reason for that. I don't think enough people really appreciate. But I minored in classical and medieval studies for my undergrad. And one of the things you learn about early Christianity and the Roman Empire was that Rome had this law. Yeah, it was an actual law that you had to obey regarding public piety, all right? Because Rome was a polytheistic society. Its leaders really didn't care what religion you followed. They didn't care what gods you worshipped. What they did care about was that you did your public piety, meaning public displays of faith. The reason for that being, they figured they didn't really know or much less care which religion was the true religion, but they were also pragmatic. So they figured, okay, do your public piety. We don't care what gods you worship, but you damn well better worship them publicly and make a big show of it so that they'll be pleased because you're citizens of the empire, and if your gods smile upon you, they'll smile upon us. Like I said, rather cynical and not genuine, but very pragmatic from a Roman point of view. But Jesus was adamantly opposed to public piety because he realized that displays of faith put on for show for the benefit of other people were empty. You know, it stripped religion of faith rather than enhanced it. So he constantly was telling people, you know, look, if you're going to do good works, don't brag about it so that you can be seen of men, and you know, don't be like the hypocrites who rend their clothes and gnash their teeth so that they can be seen of men, because verily I say unto you, they have their reward. And I don't mean to bore you with a whole bunch of Christian sermonizing. I'm just saying, you know, this is what Christ preached and why he preached it. And looking at that debacle in Arizona on the TV, the pyrotechnic displays and all that, it's like, dude, come on. There's no way Jesus would have approved of that. I mean, I don't like to push my religion onto other people. You know, what you believe or don't believe is up to you. But I do have religious beliefs of my own. And just to see displays like that, it just ticks me off, and especially when they're used to push politics. Whole first part of the First Amendment was Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Because the last thing they wanted was for religion and politics to mix. And if you study history like I did, you find so many examples of all the horrible things that happen when religion and politics do mix. Especially if the religion you follow happens to be different from the religion of the people who hold political power. And they decide to use that political power to suppress your religious freedoms. You get people who want to push their religion on society. But who decides which religion everyone else has to follow? Or which denomination within a religion? The Puritans found out the hard way that when you try to run a religious theocracy, it just never works. Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to talk about topics that are guaranteed to piss off someone. That's not what I'm trying to do, but I did say early on in this channel that I would talk about what I want, and if you don't like it, tough. I try not to self-censor because I don't believe in doing it, but at the same time, I don't want to go out on my way to try and push my opinion on others, okay? You don't have to agree with me. I'm not asking you to. I'm not telling you to. I'm just saying my opinion, okay? That's it. All right? Free speech is about being able to voice your opinion without having to worry about the government cracking down. And too many people forget that. Doesn't mean that there should never be consequences for your opinion. Like, let's say if you yell fire in a crowded room and cause a panic, or if you say something to incite certain actions against other people, it's not free speech, that's incitement. So, there are differences in what you can and should be allowed to say on the one hand, and what you should be able to say without consequence. Too many people want to be hypocrites about it. But anyway, I've pretty much got my website completed. There are a couple parts that I want to tweak before I have them go fully public. In particular, my portfolio page, because it, the way it's set up, it also has a YouTube channel section. But my YouTube channel that I want to use for my photography doesn't have any actual content yet. It will, but just not yet. So I don't want to have it on there if there's nothing to show. But I do have my photos up there, so I may go ahead and have a placeholder link just to kind of show you some of the stuff that I have from my other YouTube content. Oh, in garden news, I've pulled up about half of the cucumber plants because they were dead or nearly dead, and not producing any fruit. But there are still some vines that are producing. With new growth of cucumbers. So I'm going to try and see if I can harvest those before cold weather starts setting in. And one of my tomato plants no longer produces fruit, but it has new growth on it. And I went ahead and trimmed off all the dead parts on both tomato plants. And the second tomato plant, because I had bought two this spring. It has about 4 fruits on it, but there's no new growth on it, so I don't know whether or not it can be salvaged. But the second plant, if it continues producing new growth, I want to see if I can preserve it over the winter. And just see if I can fertilize it with compost. So I don't know if Cherokee purple tomatoes can be kept over multiple seasons. I'll have to look that up. Because if I can avoid having to buy new plants next year, then great. By the way, I've not changed the setting on this because I really don't feel the need to. It's really right in the sweet spot for not too aggressive and not too mild. For my liking, anyway. Now, this being a barn door razor, modeled on the old Gillette razors, the shaving angle is different than if you're using a Mercure or Razor Rock head. Because tools like that are designed to let you ride the cap. But barn door razors, no, it's a whole different beast. And this razor is a beast. I mean, it looks thin. It's certainly a lot thinner than my Vikings Blade Emperor Augustus. But it's still got plenty of weight to it. I mean, this is heavy in the hand. So it's nice and solid. Good grip. Because I don't know if you can see the knurling on here, but yeah, you're not going to have this slipping out of your fingers in an inopportune moment. Because it is designed to let you hold on. And that PVD coating really makes a difference too. Yeah, right about there. And I'm using my last Astro Superior stainless blade. And this is the first week on it. Corners of my mouth are always trickiest to get. Yeah, if anyone is familiar with GoDaddy, which is a web hosting site, that's where I have my website host. Like I said, I managed to get some help from my county SBA organization to get that set up. And I'm still learning how best to put my portfolio up, the existing one that I have. Because I want to organize it, Because my studio is about being your one-stop place for everyone to go for all your visual media needs. So whatever type of photography you need, I'll provide it. I don't specialize in just one thing, like a lot of other studios do. All right, let's get the Dickinson's Witch Hazels. Not quite as popular, apparently, as Thayer's, but in my experience, much less expensive, and you get a lot more for the money. At least twice as much as you'd get in a comparable bottle of Thayer's at half the price. And it's not that I don't like Thayer's, I've used it before. But if you're like me and you've got to watch every penny you spend, price does matter. And it just doesn't make any sense to spend twice as much for less witch hazel. So I'm just going to rinse out my brush. Now I've already run it under the tap and given it a squeeze, but now I'm dipping it into clean water. And then giving it a squeeze until the container is empty. So I like to make sure that my brushes, especially my natural hair brushes, that they are free of any residual lather, because it will eat away at the fibers that comprise the bristles. It's not so much of an issue with synthetic brushes, but I do like to use both natural and synthetic. And I want to keep my natural bristle brushes going as long as I can. Because I've got all the brushes I need. I'm not spending any more money on any new brushes. I'm just not. I've got way too many as it is, and I cycle between all of them. And quite frankly, I don't feel like replacing anything if I don't have to. So, yeah, I've got my badger, my boar, my horse. I've made the mistake of giving away some brushes that I wish I hadn't. Yeah, finishing off, by the way, with the companion aftershave. And that's pretty much it for this shave. Like I said, sorry for rambling. Well, I've gone over 30 minutes on this one. That's what I get for talking and yakking when I should have been focusing on shaving. But anyway, once again, the feature tool for this video has been the Wishi Nostalgic Adjustable. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please, again, forgive the long rambling rant. It's just one of those days. Please do all the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'll have links on the video below for where you can get this stuff. Until next time, this is Mike for Blade and Brush, signing off.